Hey guys, I just reviewed the OnePlus 3, but now it's time to take a closer look at its camera and see how it compares to other popular smartphones like the iPhone 6s Plus and the Galaxy S7. Hello everybody, how are you guys doing today? I'm Crystal.
And I'm Dan, and me and Crystal took these three phones out into the wild. We took some pictures with them. Now we're gonna put them side by side and see just how good or how bad the OnePlus 3's camera is.
Yeah, and if you're wondering how we made our phones look like this, we put some D-brand skins on them, and there's D-brand skins for many phones, including the OnePlus 3 now. So if you want to add some extra grip to your phone or make it look a little bit cooler, get a D-brand skin. I'll put a link in the description below.
Let's do this.
Let's start out with the picture that most defines these three phones' cameras. At normal size, you can't really notice too many differences between the OnePlus 3 and the S7, but what you can notice is that the iPhone has much less contrast. When we zoom in, you can really see this, and it appears the S7 has just the slightest bit more contrast over the OnePlus 3. And these contrast differences will also be the case in the rest of the pictures. So what makes a better picture, less or more contrast? Well, it's mostly up to preference, but overall I do think the S7's colors and contrast looks just a tad better than the OnePlus 3's here.
Once again, at first glance, the iPhone 6s Plus is the only photo here that looks different. The image itself is a little bit darker than the others, and that's something you'll notice for most of the pictures to come. And also, the colors are a little bit more toned down, less bright, and just a little bit more natural. There's not as much contrast either. The OnePlus 3 and the S7 look identical until we zoom in, and now you'll notice the OnePlus 3 is much sharper. You can see the bug bites on the leaves a lot clearer. And this is also something we'll see for the rest of the photos. That extra megapixel count on the OnePlus 3 will usually end up capturing the most detail. And in this case, I do think that, along with the nice colors, makes the OnePlus 3 the winner.
With this picture, we can get a good test of how well the OnePlus 3 handles dynamic range. We have a lantern in some shade with the sun beating down on the house in the back. Right off the bat, you'll notice the blue of the sky on the S7 is much nicer than the others. But the iPhone 6s Plus actually exposes the house better. You can actually make out the shutters since the overall picture is darker. In terms of sharpness though, the OnePlus 3 definitely has the most detail, but still, overall, the picture that looks the best to me is going to be the S7 with its deep blue sky and extra contrast.
Here's another dynamic range test with me and Crystal's sister Gabby, and once again the S7 is the clear winner as it's the only one showing the blue sky. The iPhone and the OnePlus do equally bad in this regard, but the OnePlus at least makes me and Gabby bright enough. The S7 is definitely the winner.
Not really sure what's going on with this picture, but the two big things that stick out to me are the overexposed leaves on the OnePlus 3 and the crazy contrast on the Galaxy S7. You lose a lot of information with the Galaxy S7 when looking at the leaves, which isn't really a good thing, but I don't know if it really hurts the image here. Even though the OnePlus 3 overexposes a few leaves, I do prefer it over the iPhone 6s's hazy image. And I'd say the S7 and OnePlus 3 are winners here, but I do lean a little bit more towards the S7.
Alright, in this test, we can get a really good sense of color accuracy and post-processing sharpening. And yeah, from this far away, it's pretty hard to tell any differences. They all look nice. But if we zoom into these leaves and flowers on this tree, you'll notice two things. The first is the difference in color with the iPhone 6s Plus. These flowers blend right into the surrounding leaves. They look yellow or green almost. But in the OnePlus 3 and S7 shots, they look white and are easily distinguishable between the leaves. And in real life, yes, the flowers were in fact white. Also, the S7 seems to overexpose those flowers a little bit too much. The clearest is the OnePlus 3, thanks to that larger 16 megapixel sensor over the other two's 12 megapixel sensors. You just get a lot more detail. And the S7 has the most post-processing sharpening going on. Overall, I do think the OnePlus 3 looks the best here with its accurate color representation, exposure, and detail.
Okay guys, now let's take a look at this whistling tree. They all look great, but the iPhone does a better job at exposing the background. Maybe because the overall picture is darker, but you can actually make out colors on the trees in the back and that building on the right. As for the main subject of the photo though, they all capture a ton of detail. But the extra contrast in the S7 really brings out features of the tree more so than the others, and it has the most color, and once again, I really do like that, so I'll say the S7 is my favorite here.
Here's a picture of an ass carrying some flowers, and it looks like the pictures from left to right get brighter and warmer. The iPhone is pretty dark and has a very cool color temperature to it. The donkey's back has a very blue tint. but the OnePlus 3 is a little bit brighter, and you don't notice that blue tint as much, but the S7 is the brightest and makes a big jump in color temperature. It's much more warmer, which I think looks very nice. When we zoom into these flowers, you'll see a lot more noise with the OnePlus 3, with the S7 being the clearest and sharpest. And once again, that boost in contrast looks really good to me here, making the S7 the winner in my opinion.
Now let's get into low light photography. In this picture, the OnePlus 3 is the darkest, but the actual quality of it looks pretty good with very low noise. The S7 is much brighter and also is very clear with low noise as well. The iPhone has the most noise though, and if we zoom in, we can really see it's also the least sharp. The S7 is by far the sharpest, and this mixed with its bright representation, it makes it the winner. But I do have to give props to the OnePlus 3 because even though it's the darkest, the quality is really nice.
Here's another picture where the OnePlus 3 struggles with in terms of brightness. The iPhone 6s Plus actually gives the S7 a run for its money here, but the S7 is a little bit clearer, brighter, and has less noise. So I think that makes the S7 the winner here again.
For this last low light shot, there's a huge difference in color temperature with the OnePlus 3. It's also the brightest as well, and I really do like the colors it has with this cooler hue. The iPhone and the S7 just seem way too warm, making the OnePlus 3 my favorite picture here. Now let's talk about selfies. Going from left to right, the pictures get wider and wider. The Galaxy S7 has a crazy wide angle lens that we all love, which is perfect for adding context to the shot or getting group photos, which really is the whole point of taking selfies. With the iPhone, you're going to have a very tough time getting friends in the shot or showing where you are. Now, in terms of actual quality, the OnePlus 3 is by far a winner. The iPhone seems pretty blurry, and the Galaxy S7 is known for having an airbrushed look to it, even without any beauty modes on. Even though that's good for hiding blemishes, the OnePlus takes the best quality photos.
So how about when you take selfies in low light? Well, if we ignore the angle of the lens for now and just concentrate on picture quality, the iPhone 6s Plus has a lot of grain to it, but it still appears pretty sharp. The OnePlus 3 almost has no grain, but it seems just a little bit blurry. It's just really hard to take non-blurry low-light selfies with the OnePlus 3. That being said, you can still see a lot of details with the OnePlus 3, like the freckles on my face, but you can't see them at all in the S7's picture. The S7 once again just looks a little bit airbrushed. It's a tough call, but once we factor in the angle of the lens, I guess I would lean a little bit more towards the S7.
When it comes to video, all phones do pretty well. They all have optical image stabilization, but the OnePlus 3 is much more shaky than the others. These were all shot at 1080p, but the OnePlus almost looks like it was 720p or something. It doesn't look too sharp. The S7 is very contrasty with bright saturated colors, but the iPhone 6s Plus appears very natural and the optical image stabilization is fantastic. It looks like the phone was on a Steadicam. It's a close call, but I'd give the iPhone 6s Plus the crown here. So now that you guys have seen the camera comparisons, we want to know which camera you think performed the best.
And it all comes down to preference. So in our opinion, I think we'd say for daylight pictures, the S7 is a clear winner. Yeah. Also for low light pictures, the S7 is a winner.
And when it comes to video, we're gonna go with the iPhone.
The iPhone.
Well, that is the end of this video, but if you were wondering where the heck is a G5 and the 6P, we have a video coming for that very soon, so stay tuned to see where the OnePlus 3 ranks up to the LG G5 and the Nexus 6P. So make sure you subscribe for that.
And if you like this video, leave a like, and if you want to follow us on Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter, do it.
Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you later.